Good end of the week to you, Lions fans. I have 5 stories for you on this third episode of Lyons Den Weekly, where we take stories from the Detroit Lions through the week, put them together, and give our thoughts on it. The first story I'm starting with is one that I am not happy with. According to the Detroit Free Press, Detroit Lions to cut special team star Jalen Reeves-Mabin. The reason why I'm not happy about this, some of you may know this, but he has been one of my favorite Lions for a long time. I remember when he left a few years back and he spent, I want to say maybe 2 years with the Texans, but then he came back in, I want to say 22. It may have been 21, but I want to say at least 22. He came back. This man has been a plug, a leader for the Lions for a while now. He has been a stand-up special teams player, and I love special teams players. Special teams players, I feel like sometimes they don't get enough credit for what they do to and for a team. And this is one of those guys who has done that. Not only has he been a good special teams player and a good stand-up and a captain for the team, a leader for the team, but to me, he has also been a pretty good backup linebacker in situations where we have needed him. Let's read some of the story and see what it says. A year after they signed him to the richest special teams contract in NFL history, the Detroit Lions are parting ways with Jalen Reeves-Mabin in a cost-cutting move. And of course, we figured that would be the reason why. And listen, this happens with sports teams. If you have been a sports fan of a team, in any sport for a significant amount of time, this is something that has been dealt with before. This is something that happens. So it's not a surprise that this is going on, but it still, stinks nonetheless when there's a guy that this good and he can still add something to the team. The ad says that the Lions informed Reeves-Mabin they plan to release him before the start of the 2025 league year, which begins March 12th. It says Reeves-Mabin was scheduled to count $4.75 million against the cap next season and was due $500,000 roster bonus. So I'm assuming he was due that bonus before March the 12th, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. It says defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, wide receiver Jamison Williams, and safety Kirby Joseph are eligible for extensions this spring for the first time. And the Lions hope to re-sign several of their own free agents, including linebacker Derek Barnes and defensive tackle Levi Onwusa-Ricky. Kind of makes sense. We would like to see those guys back too. Reeves-Mabin, NFL Players Association president, signed a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Lions last spring after earning second-team All-Pro honors as a special teams player. Let's see what else it says. It says he missed 7 games with serious neck injury this season, which we know that. It said he averaged about 15 snaps a game as an extra linebacker on defense and turned 30 in January. I'm going to jump down here. It says... No, I'm sorry. Let's see what Reeves said. He says, I know he has dreams of being a head coach, and it's our job to make sure we go there and make sure his defense look good. Hopefully he'll be a head coach one day. Reeves-Mabin said, okay, I think he was talking about Kelvin Shepard. Down here it says the Lions return starting linebackers Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell and top backup Michael Rodriguez for 2025 and could re-sign Barnes, who is coming off a season-ending knee injury. Special teams linebackers Zeke Turner and Ben Nyman will be unrestricted free agents next month. Backup Anthony Pittman is a restricted free agent, and Trevor Nowalski is an exclusive rights free agent. So there it is. I think it has something to do with the fact that not only is he turning 30, but that he is, about to count, so much against the cap. And as it mentions in the article right there, they do have guys that they want to resign. And with that, you have to make room somewhere. And unfortunately, my guy, Reeves-Mabin, seems like he could, be the one on the way out. All right, let's move on to our second story that I came across this week. And this story is about one Joey Bosa, the defensive end / pass rusher for the I was about to say San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. It says that, get my story up. According to SI.com, this says Chargers shipped Joey Bosa to the Lions, but this has not happened. It's just a proposal. Down here, some of the things says that it talks about the fact that the Chargers could be saying goodbye and in the Joey Bosa era, mostly because of his $25 million in cap space. The team was safe if he exits. Going down a little bit, it says that it says basically it says something about Khalil Mack. If it depends on what they do with Khalil Mack, it says they also have to see who offers what when the phone rings. For example, in the new trade idea from Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport, the Chargers ship Bosa to the Detroit Lions in exchange for a 4th round pick. Now, this is really just more of a fantasy trades, if you will, because there is no real proposal out here that Joey Bosa could come to the Lions. But I would like to say something now. I've talked about Myles Garrett the last few weeks. We've all talked about Max Crosby for the last couple of months. Joey Bosa is a name that we didn't think about, and Joey Bosa is a guy who still has a lot in the tank. And if we can't get Garrett or Crosby, who I would want 1 and 2, then this would be a good pickup. Joey Bosa would fit in right with what the Lions are doing. He would fit in great on that line, and he would be a good backup to Aiden Hutchinson. So I wouldn't be, opposed to this. But what about you, Lions fans? Do you like the idea of possibly bringing in Joey Bosa if he's out there? And do you, for something like a 4th round pick, because you're not going to get a Joey Bosa with a 4th round pick in this draft. That's just what I believe. I think having him for 2 years for a 4th round pick would fit in just fine. You wouldn't really give up a lot to get him. All right, let's move on to our next story. Our next story, I want to talk about a Lions fan. I just came across this, a Lions fan who they are saying his season tickets could be revoked. Let's get into the story. It says that Lions revoke decades-long season ticket holders membership. Let's see. It's actually I didn't see this. There may be a video here. Let's see what it's talking about. Okay, I'm gonna keep that down for a minute. We don't need the ad. We just needed to get right into the video. If it does, all right.
Historic season at Ford Field. Some Lions season ticket holders are not being invited back.
Well, we've been hearing from many fans who say buying season tickets is no longer an option for them. 7 News Detroit reporter Megan Daniels speaking with 2 men tossed from that long roster of season ticket holders.
Some Lions season ticket holders tell me they aren't too pleased with the organization right now after they say they received an email saying their 2025 ticket membership is being revoked.
I'm like hurt for these 2 weeks. I'm like, I couldn't put a Lions thing on for a couple of days because I'm like, they don't want me. Like, it sucks.
Powell Jan has been a Lions season ticket holder for over 23 years, but now he says he's rethinking his dedication to the team after receiving an email stating he was losing his 2025 season ticket membership.
I emailed that even like a day later, just confirming the email that they have on file. So I don't miss any further communication with them in case they email me, and there's like no response.
And he isn't alone.
I'm a diehard Lions fan. Loyal, meaning I went through all those crappy years. They didn't really put a good product out. Yeah.
Both Powell and Tony Stevenson say they sold more tickets than allowed. And both men received an email from the Lions organization saying, our internal review of your account activity indicates a level of resale and or transfer activity inconsistent with personal use of your Detroit Lions game tickets. And we have made the decision to not renew your season ticket membership for the 2025 season.
I thought the message was a bit curt. And I thought maybe based on my tenure, they might take a look at my case and say, okay, he really kind of bombed out in 2024, but we might give him another season.
Both of the men tell me they live out of state, but they maintain their season ticket membership in order to enjoy the tickets when they have the opportunity to make it back to town and to give as gifts to family and friends who are local.
I read 2 things out of it. Their integrity tells me I'm not loyal. They didn't have an issue with it when the team stunk.
I reached out to the Lions organization for comment on this situation, but they have not responded.
Will it change your support of the Lions?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, I'm not going to root for the Bears or anything like that. I thought about it. In fact, I thought hard, which was weird.
In Detroit, Megan Daniels, 7 News Detroit.
A lot of fans looking closely at that one.
All right. So there you have it. It says, let's see. Well, pretty much we got the whole story there, but it says the Lions season ticket holders are too pleased with the Lions organization. You see an email saying that their membership had been revoked. So They didn't really get into particular details. It just said something about he told me he has been a Lion. Okay, we got that part. It says something about they sold more tickets than allowed. It says our internal review of your account activity indicates a level of resale. Okay, they said that in the article. I'm just trying to see if in the video. I'm trying to see if there's something else here. Oh man, we read that. Let's go down here. See if it said that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all it says about that. So basically, it sounds like what's going on is they're saying that these guys sold too many tickets. I don't know if they mean over the 23 year, where the first guy was a 23-year season ticket holder. I don't know if they meant over 23 years or if they meant just over the 2024 season they sold too many tickets. Listen, I'm a Lions season ticket holder as well, and we are old in explanation on what's going on with this as season ticket holders. We need to know like what are the do's and the don'ts. I don't think it's okay for them to just take these guys season tickets without telling them, or even letting us fans who are season ticket holders know, hey, if you sell more than, like this year 2025, the Lions will have 8 home games. If you sell 4 or 5 home games, you could be in danger of losing your season tickets, which I don't understand why that would matter to the Lions organization, because the seats are still being filled. In a lot of cases, not all, but a lot of cases, there are other Lions fans buying these tickets. So why do they care how many tickets that a Lions season ticket holder sells? Not to mention, they said he transferred too many tickets. Well, one of my cousins has one of the seats of the season tickets that we have. When we meet up at the game, I have to transfer him the tickets. So if I do that for going on, 4 years, year 4, year 5, if I'm transferring a ticket every single game, are they going to look at it the same way and say, well, you're transferring too many tickets, we're going to revoke your season tickets? And it sounds like as of now, they haven't given him an explanation. But all of you Lions fans who are season ticket holders or not, what do you think about this story? Do you like what the Lions, did with both of these guys, and snatch their season tickets, particularly without giving them any like, to me, they didn't even give them any leeway or say, hey, we're gonna let you come back for 2025, but these are the expectations? Or do you think that it just is what it is? All right, I have 2 more stories for you. Next up, we are going to talk about former Lions coach Ben Johnson. Now, as you all know, this week is the week of the NFL Combine. Today was day number 2, and I ran across an article on Pride of Detroit that said that they thought that Ben Johnson was taking a shot at the Lions, particularly the Lions offense, and Kirby Joseph was not happy about it. I will go down to what Ben Johnson said. So this was, he was asked at the press conference. Ben Johnson said the out of structure, the off schedule, the creation, that's what stands out the most, because that's really the way the league's going right now. It seems like, Johnson said, as much as you want to make it pure progression, 1 or 2 or 3, there's just too much variety. The pass rush is coming down. And to have an athlete like Caleb extend the play and potentially find an explosive down the field, that's what gets me going a little bit. I get excited thinking about that because I haven't really been around that since I've been in the league. But I've been on the other side and I have experienced it. And it's demoralizing when you're on the other side and you're watching that happen to your defense. So right here, you see this was a tweet that Kirby Joseph sent out. Kirby Joseph did not seem to be happy. And I think I saw somewhere Amik Robinson also responded, somewhere on Twitter to Ben Johnson. Now, this is just my opinion, Lions fans. I think that Ben Johnson is just excited, to be honest. Even on our sidelines, I think he saw Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was a rookie this year in 2024. I think he sees the big arm strength. He sees the athleticism. Now, he's not Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but he sees athleticism. He sees the fact that Caleb Williams may be able to extend plays and, get receivers on the field, something that Jared Goff could not do. Let's just don't play games with it. You could be mad at Ben Johnson, but that's not something that's in Jared Goff's bag. That's what I think happened. I think he's just excited talking about his team. But Lions fans and Kirby Joseph and Meek Robinson, they did not take it that way. But what about you, Lions fans? Are you just like, it just is what it is? Or are you upset with Ben Johnson for feeling like maybe he, was really taking a shot at the Lions? And then let's move on to our last story. It has to do with the draft. As I mentioned, this week is the NFL Draft Combine, and I ran across an article about Alabama safety Malachi Moore. And in this article, by SI.com, Alabama's Malachi Moore would love to join the Detroit Lions and be reunited with his former teammates Brian Branch and Tyrion Arnold. Now, I'm going to say that one of the reasons that this is probably coming up is because the Lions are in they could Melifonwu. That's what I was thinking about. The Lions could be on the verge of losing Melifonwu, and they could definitely use another safety. Excuse me. So this article says if there's one thing that can be taken away from Brad Holmes' first 4 drafts as Lions general manager is that he holds Alabama players in high regard, which we know that. In his time at Detroit, he has drafted wide receiver Jameson Williams in 22, running back Jahmyr Gibbs, and defensive back Brian Branch 23, Tyrion Arnold in 24. So we do know that Holmes is big on Alabama's players. Scrolling down, it says he'll have a chance to add another Alabama player, talking about Malachi Moore. It says the 6', 200-pounder made quite the name for himself during his 5 years in Tuscaloosa. In 64 games, he logged 214 total tackles, including 15.5 for loss, 31 passes, defense, 7 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recovery. It talks about his all SEC. He was an all SEC selection. It also says that Moore's time at Alabama overlapped with each of Holmes' 4 Crimson Tide draft picks. Moving down, let's see what Moore had to say. He said, "We came together as freshmen in 2020, and we were like 2 peas in a pod." Moore told reporters during his media session Thursday at the NFL Combine, "We really were attached everywhere we went." It says Moore and Branch further bonded over transitioning to primary safety roles this past season. Let's see what else it says. It says he got moved to safety this year also when I moved to safety, so we would talk back and forth with each other on what we were seeing and how we could be instinctive and make plays. That's what Moore said. Moore, Branch, and Arnold each played a physical brand of football and share a desire to be great, and now they can be reunited as Lions defensive backs. I'm going to leave it at that. So, Lions fans, what do you think about this? 6'1", 201-pound Malachi Moore possibly being a Detroit Lion in the draft. As they mentioned, we know that Brad Holmes loves to draft players from Alabama. All right, Lions fans, that's all for this week of Lyons Den Weekly. Give me your thoughts on the 5 stories that we presented. Now, over here on YouTube, if you haven't already, hit that like button so we can keep getting out there. If you haven't already, subscribe and give us a comment on what you think about the articles and the stories that we brought up today. Right there on the screen, you see our TikTok. Go over there. If you haven't already, go over there and give us a follow there as well. As I always mention, my son, he'll get back in here when he gets a chance and get on some of these shows with me, but he does the TikToks over there. So go over there and give us a follow as well. And right there on the bottom of the screen is our Twitter/X page. Give us a follow over there if you haven't already. All right, Lions fans, that's all I have on this one. Until next time, peace.